Ever since the protagonist, Yuya Tenjo, was very young, he had known the world did not welcome him. Despite their unique circumstances, he held on to the hope that there would come a moment when they could make a difference and help someone in need. One day, a girl named Kaori Hojo was being pursued by a group of individuals. She was desperately pleading for them to stop. She had already refused their offer multiple times and just wanted to go home. The group persisted, insisting that they would not harm her and suggested they spend some time together, but her pleas grew more desperate. In the midst of this tense situation, Yuya noticed this distress and intervened. He confronted the group, pointing out that the girl clearly did not appreciate their actions. This intervention sparked rage from the group, who turned their attention towards him, insulting and threatening him. The thugs went on further and began to physically beat him, which only stopped when the sound of the police sirens were heard. Undeterred by their aggression, Yuya stood their ground, defending the girl and emphasizing the importance of treating others with kindness as his grandfather taught him. Yuya, burdened by their repulsive appearance and the mistreatment he faced daily, felt a glimmer of hope in this act of compassion. Yuya's life had been marked by the cruelty of others, even from their own family. He wasn't even allowed to wash his clothes together with theirs. His siblings, blessed with beauty, had never even regarded him as a human being. The harshness only intensified as they entered middle school, facing relentless bullying and ridicule from his classmates. Amidst the torment, Yuya's only solace came from their late grandfather, who had shown them unconditional love and support. Their grandfather's words echoed in their mind, reminding them that even in the face of adversity, kindness and courage were essential. These teachings became their guiding principles. When their grandfather passed away, he left behind a house and possessions. However, his parents, driven by greed, attempted to claim everything. Fortunately, the groundwork laid by Yuya's grandfather prevented their parents from seizing the inheritance completely. As a result, their parents disowned him, leaving Yuya to fend for themselves, working part-time jobs to survive. Yuya's journey through school was fraught with isolation. He attended his graduation ceremony where he was met with scorn and mockery. The lack of friends and the constant taunting weighed heavily on his spirit, reinforcing the negative image he had of himself. As he rushed to their job delivering newspapers, he faced yet another confrontation by the classmates who bullied him. One of them kicked him down and told him he will be their sandbag forever even if he graduates. Yuya tries to tell him he needs to go to his job, but the bullies didn't like the fact that he was talking back and they started to beat him. His schoolmates along with his siblings stood and watched as the bullies beat him. After everyone left, Yuya went on to his job with a blue eye. His supervisor berated him for being late and told him there was no need for him to come again. Yuya was accustomed to such treatment, and he just apologized meekly. Despite the hardships, Yuya held on to their grandfather's wisdom. As he starts to eat his ramen, he starts to wallow, and after his meal, he goes to the bathroom to wash up. As he looks at his face in the mirror, he starts to cry as all the pain was too much to hold in. He starts punching the mirror as he couldn't stand seeing himself. He couldn't help but question the purpose of his graduation. The bitterness and disillusionment crept into his voice as he expressed his frustration, feeling as though nothing would ever change in his life. As his hand was bleeding from the cut from punching the mirror, he punches the wall with his other hand, which makes him stumble through it into a hidden room. As Yuya stood in the mysterious hidden room, filled with confusion and disbelief, lost and unsure of what to do next, he found himself drawn to a peculiar door that seemed out of place. Curiosity piqued, Yuya approached the door. contemplating its existence and the strange room it concealed. Memories of his late grandfather flooded his mind. The man who had traveled the world and brought back unusual souvenirs. Was this the room or repository for those trinkets? He wondered if his grandfather had left them behind for him to discover. Intrigued and hoping for some answers, Yuya entered through the door. As he stepped through, he was surprised by a screen that popped up showing newly acquired skills and titles displayed in front of him. Skills, appraisal and endurance, and titles, Master of the Door, Master of the House, Otherworlder, and First-Time Traveler to a Different World, adorned his status. Perplexed by these newfound abilities, Yuya couldn't help but marvel at the possibilities they presented. He quickly realized that the door itself, referred to as a door to another world, granted him unique powers, with functions such as asset conversion, transfer, and admission restrictions. The door seemed to possess incredible capabilities beyond his comprehension. Eager to explore further, Yuya dwelled into the details of each function. The prospect of converting objects into currency intrigued him. He wondered what items could be transformed. As he examined his stats, Yuya was initially disheartened to find that all of them were at a meager level of 1. However, he discovered that he possessed bonus points or BP, which could be allocated to enhance his abilities. Being an otherworlder granted him double the points, and as a first-time traveler to a different world, he received a staggering 100 points. Yuya's understanding of his new abilities grew as he realized that the item box function was akin to a game inventory system. With each new discovery, he became increasingly convinced that he had stumbled upon an actual different world. His perception of reality shifted as he absorbed the implications of his findings. Examining the letter on the table, Yuya realized his inability to comprehend it, but just by glancing at it, he acquires a skill to read, write, and understand all languages. Reading through the letter, he discovered that the house's ownership had transferred to whoever found it, with magical enhancements ensuring that only the rightful owner could enter. Magic, a concept previously confined to fiction, now became a tangible reality in Yuya's life. He pondered the identity of the sage mentioned in the letter, realizing the immense power wielded by its former inhabitant. The room revealed even more surprises as Yuya stumbled upon an array of extraordinary weapons: the Omni Sword, the Absolute Spear, the Death Sight, the Infinite Gauntlets, and the Void Bow, each possessing incredible attributes and capabilities. Overwhelmed by the danger they presented, Yuya understood that he now had immense power in his hands. With each weapon he discovered, Yuya's proficiency in various combat styles increased, granting him new skills such as swordsmanship, spearmanship, scythe, hand-to-hand, archery, whip, axe, maul, short staff, long staff, and more. However, these skills transformed into a singular concept called true martial arts, as a state of mind achieved by mastering all forms of combat. Yuya is suddenly encountered by a creature and falls down in fright, but realizes that no one but him can enter the land. Using his appraisal, he saw that it was called a Bloody Ogre, and it was at a level 300. He decides to throw the spear at the ogre, making a hole through his chest, and defeats it in a single attack. After defeating the Bloody Ogre, Yuya's level increases to 100 and he gains 1000 points in all his stats and the ability to distribute 10,000 attribute points as he wishes. He notices that this ogre had dropped some items and obtains its fang, which can be used to create a powerful weapon. He also acquires other items such as a magic stone, gauntlets, and armor. Yuya allocates his points to his stats and decides to go home and rest for the day. On leaving, he used his skill, Asset Conversion, and converts some of his items into money, receiving a substantially large amount, which surprised him. but he took it anyway. As he slept, his body mutates and changes like Captain America. But he goes from fat boy to a shredded beach board. One look at him and the woman would go gaga. He'd be dropping panties from a mile away. You get the idea. He lost so much weight, his clothes didn't fit him. He can see past his stomach and feel his abs, but he doesn't seem to understand what happened to him. He goes to check himself in the mirror, but he can't since he broke it and he wasn't able to. It doesn't bother him since he didn't even want to ever look at himself again. As all his clothes were dirty, he uses the clothes he found in the other world. These clothes had attributes to never get dirty, be self-repairing, and automatically adjust to fit the wearer. He thanks the sage and goes to explore his new surroundings. He sees that the sage had a garden with a variety of special attribute vegetables and herbs, which he starts to take care of. Yuya starts to get used to everything and discovers even more powerful monsters such as Hell Slime and obtains items like Hell Slime Core, coffee flavored jelly, and the necklace of Black Moon, a rare drop. His level continues to increase and he acquires the skill Detect Presence. Meanwhile, in the real world, Yuya is preparing to start school. He goes to get himself a new school uniform stitched and feels anxious about the new school year. However, his curiosity about the other world and his growing strength overshadows his fears. He becomes engrossed in martial arts and studying ancient martial arts of Japan. Days pass as he keeps living in the other world. It gets closer to the start of the school year. But Yuya believes that no matter how strong he gets in this world, it won't matter because in the real world, everything will stay the same. At the start of the school year, Yuya encounters other students who find him attractive and wonder if he's a model. He also meets someone who seems surprised to see him and questions his identity. Yuya introduces himself as Yuya Tenjo. On hearing this, the whole classroom gives a shocked reaction, suggesting that something is amiss. Yuya goes to the bathroom to check his face for the first time since he's gone to the other world and is shocked himself. The episode ends with Yuya's younger brother confronting him, seemingly angry and accusing him of doing something. Yuya denies any wrongdoing but feels confused and unsure about his own identity. He just says a lot happened over the school break, but his siblings just go on to insult and demean him, saying that he is an inferior specimen with no future. Just then, a car arrives and a girl, who Yuya saves in the beginning of the episode, steps out and says she was looking for him.